everybody, it's Miss Lucy. I hope you guys are doing well. Today we are going to be continuing with our jungle theme. We're going to be making a cool little craft. We are going to be making some alligator claws. Or, I guess, depending on what you prefer, alligator or like a tiger. We're making claws is what we're doing. We're doing robotic claws. So, what we are going to need is some cardboard of any kind. From like boxes, like an Amazon box or maybe a cereal box. We are going to need some tape or glue, scissors, yarn, and straws. Very similar to our last craft. So, without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so to begin with, we're going to need our piece of cardboard. You want it to be decently long. This one's like about the size of my entire arm. I don't know how well you guys can see that, but it doesn't need to be that long. Just long enough so that you can draw a hand bigger than your own and a bit of the wrist part. So I'm just going to trace over my own hand, starting a little above, or I guess below the wrist, because my wrist is right here. I want to start like about right here. And what I'm going to do from tracing it is kind of elongate the fingers a bit. I can't really do it with my thumb because I run out of space that way, but with the rest of my fingers, I want to elongate them. We want claws, so we're going to make them big. It doesn't have to be perfect. We just want like a rough outline of where we're going to cut. That's pretty good. Trace around that. There we go. That's a pretty good claw. It's bigger than my own hand. And from there, we're going to take our scissors and we're just going to cut this figure out. I might fast forward a lot of this process just because I know you guys know how to cut. I know you guys know how to be safe with scissors. You guys don't need to sit here and watch me cut this for like 3-4 minutes. So let's just speed past that process. And again, cutting a little bit off just so that you have more mobility of each single joint. Each single finger, I mean. Because hands aren't, like, our hands are able to bend fingers individually, you know. We can do each finger. We don't just do this. But if you're okay with it just moving like that, then you don't have to cut all the way. Like this is pretty okay for me. Next, what we're going to do is at the top of each finger. So, let me see, I'm going to make a mark with a pencil. About, there we go. Where my dots are, I'm going to make a hole. So, depending on how thick your cardboard is, you could just poke it through with the pencil. My cardboard's a little thicker, so I'm going to use the scissors to just kind of poke a hole through. If you're doing this, make sure you're very careful. If you are younger, make sure either a parent does it for you or you have their permission, just because you don't want to end up hurting yourself. Like, the process isn't particularly dangerous. It is a little hard, though, and I don't want you to end up poking yourself. And again, this process is a little long, so I think we might just fast forward through a bit of that, too. Let's see. We have our last hole being done right now. You don't want the hole to be too big. Just enough so that string or yarn or whatever it is that you have can go through it. So that's what we're going to do right now. We are going to cut some strips. Now, they don't need to be too long, but enough so that you can, let's say like the length of the finger that you are doing plus a little extra, maybe like another 2-3 inches. So let's cut that. I always like cutting a little extra just in case, because you never know why you need to double knot something. or maybe you messed up the first time and you need to cut a little off. It's nice to be prepared. Doing arts and crafts, you never know what might go wrong, but you just kind of adjust to it. So we're gonna cut 5 strips for each finger. We got what, 4 there? Okay. And now what we're gonna do, okay, so we have our strips cut. We're gonna lace them through the little holes in the fingers that we cut. This can be a little tricky depending on what you're using. So what I have learned to do is that if it doesn't just go in initially, like see, I'm having trouble, grab the pencil that you were using and you can use that to poke it through the hole. So see, like poking it through the hole, poke it through the hole, and then there we go. It should be able to come through. So you're gonna take that. If you have like a bead to add at the end to tie it, that'd be a good idea. But if not, just tie a little knot so that the string doesn't come out of the hole. Now this whole process, honestly, the whole making a claw is a little lengthy, but I think it's worth it. It's a fun project to keep busy. So if you have a long afternoon where you're not really doing anything, this would be a good thing to try out. So similarly with the poking of the holes and the cutting of the fingers, I think I might fast forward through this just because it's a little lengthy, but you're just poking the string through the hole and making little knots so that it doesn't come through, and when you pull it, it should bend. Let's get the rest of those fingers ready. You are done with the threading process. You're gonna need some straws. I'm gonna move the strings back out of the way. Open palm. We're gonna take our straw and we're gonna cut small pieces where the joint is gonna go. So you see where my finger bends? That little line? I'm gonna put a little piece of straw right here on each part. So let's get to that. There we go. We need a lot of tape. All right, that feels sturdy, but if not, you can always reinforce it. So now we're gonna take each string and put it through the straw. Oh, make sure it doesn't come over. There we go, and then through the other straw. There we go, so that when you pull it, it should bend. Okay. Okay, we've put all the strings through the straws. We are almost done, guys. We have maybe like 2 steps left. So, we left a little bit of wrist space down here, and with the extra cardboard I had from my initial cut, I'm gonna make a long strip. And this, I'm gonna bend and attach to the bottom of this with tape, so that my hand can go through here, and it's kind of like a handle for me. So I'm gonna tape this together, and then I'm gonna tape it onto here. Oh. Okay, we have our handle. It feels pretty secure. Now all we have to do is tie the string around our finger. You want it pretty tight so that when you pull, the fingers bend. Now see, like right now how I have it, it's too long so that it doesn't actually pull the finger. So we want it maybe a little bit shorter than what our actual finger is, so that it has some force so it can actually bend. Okay, now that we went through the lengthy process of tying little holes for our fingers, we're just going to cut off the excess string so we don't get confused. Let's see. Oh, come on. I know, I'm pretty sure for most of you, at least for me it was, the tying of the string was like the hardest part of this project, just because it's hard to know where to put them, but it's okay, you know. We can always modify it if we need to. Add more string, add less. It's a lengthy process, but there we go. But we did it. Okay. Now let's see if we can do this. We're going to put our hand through it. We're going to, there we go, scoop mine forward. Here comes... Come on. It's hard doing this with one hand. The thumb. Pointer finger. There we go. Middle. I don't know what you call this one. Like second to last, I guess? I don't know. And then the pinky. And when you pull it, oh, look at it. It's doing it. Oh, well, the thumb is having a trouble. Understandably so, because I think we cut it a little too long. We can just adjust that in a bit. But look at the rest. That's so cool. I think I cut my strings a little too short, but that's all right. It still looks pretty cool. Now, if you wanted to, you could paint it or decorate it in any way to make it look more like either a tiger claw, a lion claw. If you want to make it look like an alligator, it'd be super, super cool. I hope you guys tried this project out. It was a lengthy process, but with some modifications, with some cool additives, you could make it a really cool thing. So I hope you guys tried it out. I hope you guys enjoy it. And without further ado, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.